Hello, this video is to declare that IQ testing is not the way to measure intelligence, it's rather history IQ testing. So we need to come up with a conversion chart to compare history IQ test to actual IQ test until we move it over to history IQ test permanently. Because people are always like measuring IQ. I was listening to some thing on YouTube the other day, and somebody was like, what do you think Elon Musk's IQ is? I don't know, like 140. And then there's that guy, Chris Langan, who says he took an IQ test and it was 200. And so he says his IQ is rated between 190 and 210. And so then he starts telling everybody about everything, you know, wanting to get interviewed by everybody all the time. And he's a right winger, and so then he postulates on everything. And so, you know, that's how our culture is. The people, the smart people are the ones who get to like talk and say everything and become the pundits. You know, that's why you have like all these rich people, the millionaires up there on YouTube now, because they're supposed to be smart on everything. So then they talk about everything because they made a bunch of money. And so we need to objectify intelligence, you know. Intelligence can't be how much money you have. That's kind of our natural default and where we hang out before we actually decide what intelligence is, like with actual, like maybe even writing down and agreeing, you know. And, you know, anybody can agree on that. I'm not going to try to sit here and argue why having money doesn't make you smart. What I'm going to do is sit here and argue why making you smart is scoring well in the history test and not the as opposed to the IQ test. IQ test doesn't have anything grounded in reality like the history test does. When you're talking about people in reality, people aren't up there, you know, pundits on politics and politicians and everybody on news and everything aren't just debating like math problems and like little, you know, mental game problems like the stuff you see on IQ. They're debating the kind of stuff that you see on history timelines. You know, they're trying to say, you know, this is the most this has ever happened, you know, so then of course they're supposed to know history if they say that. This is the 5th time this has happened, or, you know, you have to have precedent to everything, so you need to know what you're talking about. So it boils down to history. So I asked ChatGPT, like, what is, you know, the correspondence, and it said that it's difficult to assess IQ, to guess what the upper limits of IQ are, because there was a woman, I can't remember her name, but I guess she scored a 240 on an IQ test, and but then they changed the rules of IQ, and then since then, I guess some guy scored a little over 200, and then the Chris Langan says he got a 200 or something. And so I was like, all right, let's just set the upper limit at 200. 200 is the highest you can go. That's perfect IQ, perfect score. Once you hit 200, it's all like who's more above 200, but you can't measure it. So then I said, okay, make a connection between, you know, my history test and IQ. So we can start. Because I want to be the person to be like the smartest person in the world or the smartest person ever objectively. And you can't even do the IQ test objectively because each IQ test is different. You can grade them differently. The best way to grade it is just on just raw horsepower, okay? Where it's just raw studying, raw mental power. And so that's the history test. So I said, okay, so average IQ is 85 to 115. So I said, let's make it so that if you can guess all 150 of the events that happened from 1500 to 2000 on England, which I'll put the link to below on my timeline. So if you look at those icons and you know what they all mean and you demonstrate it. I have 4 minutes to talk because I'm about to run out of card power and battery power. So so 115, that's the upper limit of average. So you managed to do that, you're definitely 115. You're like pretty much, you're right on the cusp of above average. You do it one more time, you're definitely above average. So I asked ChatGPT, and it said, yeah, if you do 1, you're 115, 2, 125, 3, 135, 4, 145. You have to do 10 to get to 200, and these are the people who you're comparing to. So you can be smarter, as smart as Albert Einstein after 10. Once you do 11, you're the smartest person ever. And so I guess I'll ask ChatGTP. I like to do it just to be objective. How many until you're smart enough to get sponsorship from a rich person or a foundation, and to continue this, to get society to do what I'm doing? I was thinking maybe if you do 10, but maybe if you get up into genius level, you do 4 of them. That makes you 145. So anyways, yeah, once I do 10, I'm going to proclaim myself the smartest in the world now, and once I do 11, I'll proclaim myself the smartest ever. And then if anybody wants to complain, or say they're smarter, well, then do more tests. And that works out beautifully because you can catch up. If you're so smart, you would do the 150, and then you could go, like, from England, then you go do France, go do another 150 because you're so damn smart, right? And you'll get up to 200, and then you can, if you're so smart to get that far so fast, you could blow past me, and then you're smarter. And then I'm second place. But it's actually quantified, like how they do with athletics. That's what we need to do with intelligence to get people to start talking about real world history. And I was discussing IQ with memorization with ChatGTP, and it was saying there's fluid intelligence and crystallized intelligence. Well, you need good fluid intelligence in order to have good crystallized intelligence, because you use fluid intelligence to crystallize your intelligence. And so that's how it can transfer IQ, high IQ, to a good memory of history. Because to memorize all of history, you have to put it into context. And if you put it into context, it means you have to have a deep, deep, deep understanding of history, being able to, the 6-degree chess and compare everything and the patterns of everything. That's IQ. The RAM drive, like being good at chess is a good measure of IQ, because you have that little RAM memory. It's the same thing you need to understand history and stuff. And so that's why scoring higher in the test makes you the highest IQ. So that's what my goal is to go and do well at the 150 IQ test, the 150 England test. I tried a little today, and I was probably like 75% through, and I think it told me what you would be. So that'd make me like a 70 IQ. I'm actually way above that, but we're just gonna go by the ChatGTP on that. So yeah, maybe I should ask him. Because I only did it starting at IQ 115, and then I should take the test and see if my IQ is the same, and then you bring it up. So anyways, but the history IQ is what score you get on here. Like a perfect score is 150. If I got 2/3 of it, I get a 100. And yeah, so we'll figure out what that is. So anyways, that's the new rules. Quantifying intelligence is the new way, is what we're doing now. And so everybody can join in. Nobody has any advantage over anybody else. And even poor people and the athletes can do it. Because you can ride your bike and run on the treadmill and study this history test. Just like you can learn this stuff auditorially as you're training. You can learn, so now you can learn visually and auditorially. Because the test is visual, then this is how you would be learning the visual way. So anyways, I'm out of time. Talk to you tomorrow when I have my next idea. Or yeah, when I show my QR code cards.